Hey guys, this is Zoshi and this is going to be a little different video for this week, which was inspired by or suggested by Woodrose Cottage. I mean, that's her channel's name, Diane Trash. Trash? This is how you say it? I don't even know. Cottage, but I'm going to link her channel down below, so go ahead and subscribe to her because she's planning on posting more videos about tarot pouches and stuff, and she already has really cool tarot journal entry videos which I love watching, you know, where she paints or just writes and uses fountain pens and inks and stuff like that. So yeah, go ahead, subscribe and check out those videos because honestly she's very artistic and talented and it's just a lovely thing to watch. And this question came up after my live with Micah when we were doing a sort of VR to Gerald and Jamie. It was the back and forth one, and you know, she was curious which fountain pen and ink would be good for, I guess, magical purposes. So I'm not, you know, an expert in this area at all. I just have a few ideas and things that I do, but I was thinking that maybe if I post this one, other people who are more knowledgeable or just, you know, use certain things with these tools might reply in a way or, you know, share their knowledge, and then we can have a lovely conversation, because I do think that fountain pens and inks especially are very, very good for magical purposes. I fell in love with the amount of variety that you can have with fountain pen inks as soon as I found a good paper, to be honest. So what I would suggest is, if you want to use these inks, or you know, just not just necessarily for magical purposes, but you know, you want to use them for note making or writing letters, I think that snail mail with fountain pens and inks are the best way to use these in the everyday, you know, life. Get some good paper. Well, my recommendation for that is Tomoe River. I have a notebook here which you can't really see. I wanted to turn this into a tarot journal, but then I realized that I can't add entries if I, you know, don't leave, you know, space. But you can see that's the Fool, my notes on the Fool. I don't know how much you can see from, how much you can see from the shading. This ink doesn't have any sheen, but maybe on the symbols you can see there is enough shading, and that's one of my favorite inks. By the way, the Diamine Soft Mint. So I was thinking that I would show you my favorites and why I use them, what I think about them, and then a little about the pens that I use. But I wanted to start with paper because on everyday printer paper you won't be able to see the shading. Usually it's just it feathers, it's ugly, and you're just like, why are, you know, people like using it? It's not fun, it's not pretty, it's just messy. But as soon as you start using good paper, things get magical. So yeah, so let's start with my inks, I guess. So like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite ones, is the Diamine Soft Mint. And I have a swab and a little, you know, quote where I set up my swatches like this so I can see the color, but I can see how it looks when I just simply write with it, because there could be a huge difference. Some inks can look really cool on swatches, but in everyday writing, your writing, because you know it matters how big of your letters are, how broad your pen is. The more broader the pen, the more ink came out, the more ink properties can be seen. And I have a small handwriting, I guess, unsurprisingly, so that's something that I had to always keep in mind. But with the favorite one, I think when you're doing magic in any way, you know, or just journaling for tarot, and you want to use something special. And by the way, I have the glass bottles diamond inks here. I think in most places the plastic ones are sold, which has a cool label, but I kind of like the idea of, you know, that this one is still glass. And that's the only ink that I'm actually close to emptying the bottle, because I have so much that, you know, that's not, so to speak, a danger. But using a favorite ink for anything that you want to use it for, you know, magical purposes or just anything spiritual is a good idea, I think, because there's already an intention with the ink that you're liking. You know, there's already, the ink is already infused with love, so to speak. And I think that's a very good start from, you know, for anything magical, you know, unless you're doing something that I wouldn't, hurting other people and stuff like that. I don't even care that, you know. The other one is the Noodlers Inc Habanero. This is my all-time favorite orange ink. I just love that it's called Habanero, because it makes me obviously think about the spicy hot pepper. And when you use that for spells, for example, you can infuse that spicy hot energy into the words. And this is the bottle, and there's not a lot missing, but these bottles come full to the brim. So, you know, when you open a you open a Noodlers Inc bottle, you usually advise to do it on a tray and do it in plastic gloves, because it's gonna be everywhere when you open it the first time, which is absolutely true. And even though I love this ink, oh, it's so beautiful. Can you see the color? It dries so slow that it's not even funny, especially on good paper. So on Tomoe River paper, this ink won't be dry fully even after 3 days out in the air. You know, I sent letters and I put them aside after writing them for 3 days, and when I was, you know, going to put them in an envelope, it was still not dry. So that's also something that you can, but you know, that's annoying for writing letters, but that can be used for magical purposes, because you can set up a ritual where you want things to change slowly, or the effect, I guess, take hold slowly, and then you can use an ink that dries slowly to emphasize that fact. Because, you know, how I see magic, and like I said, I'm not knowledgeable in this area. I've only done little this and that here and there. I just have ideas. But intention is I think the most element, because if you don't have the intention, or the right intention, or strongest intention, or whatever, it's not gonna work. But, you know, you can have that intention that you want the change to be slow, because sometimes a slow change is better than, you know, the rapid one. Then you can use an ink that dries slowly to emphasize that fact. Okay, so those were one of my favorites one, and the other one that I got, and, you know, it's a favorite and in a more practical way, is the Graphon Faber Castell burnt orange. It's very, very similar to the Habanero, but Habanero is a bit more reddish, but this one is more usable because it actually dries. So I picked up this one up because I wanted a version of, and I'm just gonna show you the bottle because it's beautiful. I wanted a, you know, a usable version for the Habanero. And these inks look so nice on the table. You know, if you want to be fancy and just be like, yeah, use fountain pens, then buy yourself a bottle and just display somewhere. But, you know, if I want an orange themed spell or reading or whatever entry, because orange could be, I don't know, like, I don't know. I mean, orange can be used for fire elemental, you know, like rituals or spells, or just, you know, making notes about the pseudo ones, for example, because that was my original idea when I first made my tarot journal, that I picked a color for each suit, and burnt orange was the color for the fire suit, the wand suit, because that's how I see the wand. So, you know, you can emphasize things like that with color. Another thing that can be very useful is something like using the name and the colors, obviously. Robert Oster is one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite ink maker. I mean, I only bought inks directly once, and they are still keeping in touch. And, you know, even if I'm not really active on my other Instagram anymore, and they were just so nice and always so appreciative of people and being part of the communities, that if I use any Robert Oster ink, to be honest, that will be a very good start for me to use it for gratitude, because I feel grateful for them for being so kind and generous and caring. And an ink like Summer Storm can be used for spells that deals with, or just journaling that deals with getting over difficulties, not very, very heavy ones, because a Summer Storm is not something that will necessarily, you know, come in and ruin everything. At least not around here. Not maybe I don't even know. It used to be like that in my childhood, but things are changing. But, you know, I would use it in a setting where the problem is not as big as a mountain, for example. And then for love readings or stuff like that, or the cup suit, I would use Robert Oster's Pinky. Like with the, you know, it's a lovely shade of pink. Plus, for me, the ink is already infused with love, gratitude, and all those positive feelings that, you know, I can just pour into whatever I'm writing. And I think that could be something where you can start buying inks if you want, obviously, or just, you know, look through your own collection and select a few that you already have feelings towards, and decide if you want those feelings in a reading or if you need something else, you know, or not reading necessarily, but in a spell or in, you know, journaling. Because I have a few, like the Diatramantis Dragon. It's a simple blue, not my favorite. I'm not a... Ever since, you know, I discovered that fountain pen inks can be more than just blue. I have a hard time using blue because I just, you know, I'm like, I can use blue with ball pens and whatever, I don't care. So yeah, the bottle is not even that pretty. I mean, we have the Chinese character for dragon, and it's a simple blue one, but this is a dragon ink. So if I want something really powerful, or just, you know, something that connects to me in a special way, I will use an ink with anything dragon in it. Robert Oster has one. The Atramantis has another one, a Magic Dragon ink, which is a more purpley one. I don't even know if I have more right now. I want to build up a small collection from dragon inks, but I kind of went into the tarot realm of things, and I haven't bought any inks in the recent past few years. But I'm kind of sure that it's gonna, you know, circle back. Also, something else before I have one more left before after this one. So, like I said, with the Habanero, you can use something like that to emphasize the slow change with a spell. But if you use something like Aurora Unklinga, because it's German, Scaviosa, so obviously I'm butchering. I have the Scabiosa because there's two that they have, which is an iron Gall Ink. I have Scabiosa because this is a more purpley one, the other one is a more blue one. They are both really cool colors, but the most important attribute of an iron Gall Ink is that even if, you know, water gets around it, there's a layer of the ink that will stay on the paper. That's why I usually use this one when I'm, when it's winter or something like that, to address envelopes, because in that case there's a bigger chance that the address is gonna be visible. But you can use that for spells that you want to have a really long-lasting effect. I'm not gonna say, like forever, but I'm sure that there are people who can do spells like that, and those spells would only be broken by actually burning the paper or something like that. But if you want to, emphasize the fact that you want this spell or you want this journal entry to last for a long time, you could use an iron Gall ink, and that is something that you can actually make at home. It's not as difficult. You can't really use it with a pen that you want to keep for other purposes, because it eats away. In the pen, so I would just get a really cheap one, or even a dip pen with a cheap nib to use it with that one. I mean, not something like this, because this was made to be safe in fountain pens, but I still wouldn't put it in anything that I actually care about. So yeah, those are the inks that I just selected. These are my own little ones. The current collection is around 70 something that I kept. I have all the shades of, like, look at the green that can be used for an earthly reading, or for the pentacles, something like this for spring related reading. Like, there are just so many options with colors that, and I forgot to say that there are Diamine inks. Robert Oster's has some sparkly ones, but I don't like them in my pens. The Diamine ones are so much nicer. They are easier to clean and stuff like that. And I forgot to take off I have a dedicated pen for these sparkly ones, which is too far away, but it's a friend I've turned a Lamy Safari into a dragon pen, and I'm using all the sparkly ones with that one. So, if you want to add some extra zhuzh, so to speak, these are the Robert Oster's one. They have more, but they kind of still, if you can see on my finger, come off from paper, so that's a bit more hard to use. But yeah, it's sparkly, it's beautiful. But yeah, those are the inks. But you don't have to have all these. You can just find the cheapest brand available to you and look for colors or names that you like. And that's one part of the element. Like I said, paper is really important, so that you can see these pretty and nice things in the ink, because if you don't see them, I bet, and I know the feeling, you're gonna get frustrated. So paper, ink, and now the pens. So I don't have a lot of pens anymore. I mostly got rid of my cheap ones. After a while, it's really true that if you want a nice writing experience, after a while you will just start investing in better pens, because you will go through all the cheap knockouts and just the cheap pens, and then you will be like, okay, but I actually want a nice writing experience, and you settle on a few pens, or you build up a collection. It's very possible. I know people. So, but different things can be used with this one as well. You can have something like this Kaweco Sport pocket pen that you can actually just tuck away and keep it with in a box, or even carry around if you do spells on locations, for example. I should have a converter somewhere, but I have no idea where it is. And I have some sort of I have a Kaweco a reddish color right now in the pen, which I don't even know, can't remember what. Oh, I don't think I don't think it's an original one. I think I, already refilled it with something. Tono and Limbs ink, but I don't know because I haven't really used this one for a while. But hey, I have notes somewhere with my current inked data, so to speak, but right now I have no idea. But I think, like something like a pocket pen can be very good if you're not a fountain pen user, but you want something and you want to put it away and keep it with your magical things. Something else like this one, this is a ring song. It was made in I think my mom said 70s or something like that, or 60s, I don't know. She used it. This was my mom's pen when she was a young adult, in her 20s, I think. So this is not, an original Parker. This is obviously a knockout, but it's a better quality, so much better quality. But the whole point of this pen is why this is special, and why when I use it for special purposes, is because it belonged to my mom. So, you can, if you're lucky to have someone who used fountain pens before you can use that for special spells or just, journaling as well. I don't want to just say that you can only use these for spells, because that's not true. You can just make notes about tarot in general and use something that you already have a connection with, because the intention is going to be better and you're going to remember more. Something else that I picked up, and this was one of my, if not my most expensive one, this is a Pelican M205, and this is the Aquamarine Edelstein, that's the ink. This is a special edition. These M205 or 205, I don't even know how you say that, are my favorite ones because they are smaller. These are perfect for my hand. I don't post my pens. I never did that. I don't like posting pens. For me, that makes it just too heavy and, too big. I picked this one up because of the color and the name, and I love how it writes. It's beautiful, and because it has, silver accents. So this I would use for just a pleasant writing experience and just being more special with in a different way than my mom's pen. Maybe when I want, a spell for attracting abundance or something like that. My everyday carry, so to speak, because I don't go anywhere with pens, is the Twispy Eco. I have the demonstrator one because I just, the biggest selling point for this pen was the ink. This is transparent and you can see the ink sloshing around and just being all beautiful and whatnot. So this is more about the everyday making notes. Just when something like this, like a transparent pen, can be used for spells about vulnerable, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that. I can never pronounce that freaking word. Being vulnerable. That. And I forgot to show you one ink, but I'm gonna close it with that one. So yeah, it's really up to you how you want to add the special meaning for pens, because like this is a Welsh souvenir shop pen. I ordered it online. It was cheap. It was really bad. I changed the nib and I grinded it into I'm not gonna say it's an oh god, it's a cursive italic, but it's something like that. And I made it. It was mine. It's a bit scratchy, obviously, because I'm not a nibmeister, but it still works. And it has dragons. So this is absolutely for that special thing. And because I forgot to show you that one ink, I'm gonna close off with one of my coolest inks. This is the Colorverse Mars Curiosity. It is a red one, which can be used for anything, you know, for love or I don't know, anything about passion. Yeah, I still have everything that they gave me with. And this is the inside, which actually really annoying. And I think I traded or put aside because you get one big bottle and you get a small bottle and they look like snails. I mean, how perfect is that? But the whole point is that, you know, it's a space ink, so to speak, because this is Mars Curiosity. I have Sea Europa and their first limited for ink selection, which I can't remember the name, the Voyager set. I don't have any more because these are really expensive, and yeah, I just, you know, there's a line. But if I would want anything connecting to the future or starseed energy, which I don't really do, but you know, people can do, I would pick one from this set and just use it, because these are for me like space inks. And I know they're not, but you know, when I think about them, I see stars and I see the cosmos and just see space, and I have that notion already infused with the inks. So yeah, maybe I should, you know, set up a spell to attract a spaceship. Maybe that would work. So yeah, these are the inks and pens and just little anecdotes that I could share with you about spirituality and fountain pens and inks. Hope this was interesting, and I hope that other people will start posting their selections, because I would love to see these two in the same realm. But if not, just, you know, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.